So as you can see, it progresses very, very rapidly, and we need to understand what the causes are and how the foods are influencing that so that we can slow down this progression.
Introducing Dr. Sten Ekberg, a world-renowned nutritional expert and holistic natural health medical doctor. He is a strong advocate for using our diet as medicine to treat and avoid various diseases. With over 4 million loyal followers on social media, he continues to change the lives of millions with his groundbreaking teachings. In today's video, we have extracted Dr. Sten Ekberg teachings over the years and focused on how some foods work as harmful substances for our body. These foods cause us dementia later in our lives.
We also need to understand some of the mechanisms that drive the progression of dementia so that we can understand what the foods have to do with it.
With the help of Dr. Ekberg, we will discuss what is dementia. 5 early signs of dementia. In the final part of the video, we will list out 5 important foods that Dr. Sten Ekberg confirms to cause dementia. So stay watching until the very end for all the juicy details.
Dementia means that there is neural degeneration, that the brain cells, the tissue that sends and processes signals, just isn't working as well as it used to.
Dementia is a disease of the brain that is progressive in nature, meaning it gets worse as you get older. Medscape, a leading medical website and research library, identifies that over 47 million people currently live with dementia, and that number is projected to increase by 3-folds to 131 million by 2050.
So that between 60 and 65 years of age, we have about 1.3% dementia. Between 70 and 75, it rises to 3.8%. Between 75 and 80, it goes up to 6.5%. And by the time we're 90, over 20% of the population have dementia. And then after 90, more than 40% of the population have dementia.
Before we expose the 5 foods that cause dementia, we'll briefly talk about the signs and symptoms of dementia. The common signs of dementia are memory loss, which is usually noticed by someone close to you, problems communicating or finding common words during conversations, problems with reasoning and problem solving, poor coordination and control of movement. Just a friendly reminder, kindly like and subscribe to encourage our channel. 5 foods that cause dementia. Dr. Sten Ekberg has spoken extensively on the foods we eat that can cause us dementia, but today we have extracted the top 5 foods he identified that you should be careful with as they can cause you dementia. Let's dive in. The first food is fish, and to be specific, wild-caught fish.
If you get clean, wild-caught fish, then it can be incredibly beneficial for the brain because it has omega-3. But wild-caught fish can also have mercury. It's a heavy metal, it's a neurotoxin, and it's incredibly destructive. It will literally chew away and dissolve brain tissue.
It is important to understand that wild-caught fish are fishes that were caught in the open sea. These are fishes that were not grown locally by a farmer in an artificial fish pond. So what kind of fish are safe to eat and what kind are dangerous for us?
So the high amounts of mercury is in the fish that are predatory, that eat other fish. The safe fishes to eat are typically very small fish, like sardine and herring, and to some degree mackerel, as long as you don't eat the king mackerel that get huge. Also the small flat fish, like sole and flounder and cod, are very safe, and the ones you want to avoid are swordfish and tuna and any other large predatory fish.
The second food that causes dementia is bad fats from seed oils.
The bad fats are damaged fats. They're seed oils, they're grain oils, and they're legume oils. And the problem with these is that they have too much omega-6. A little bit of omega-6 is okay, but today we're getting like 20 times more omega-6s than we should have. And most of that is coming from these so-called vegetable oils.
Omega-6 is a type of healthy fats found in the seeds of some plants. These are different from the popular omega-3 fats. Our bodies are unable to make omega-6 fats by itself, so we get them from our diet or as supplements. However, by consuming omega-6 in extracted seed oils, we expose ourselves to very high amounts of these omega-6. This can increase our chances of coming down with dementia later on in our lives. The most common seed oils we may find at the food store include sunflower oils, cottonseed oils, soybean oils, and corn oils. Dr. Sten Ekberg advises we carefully watch the way we consume these oils as they could be the driving force of dementia later on in our lives.
Even bigger problem is that they're processed so harshly. They have to use high temperature, high pressure, and chemicals to get the fat, the oil, out of these sources. And in doing that, they damage the oils.
The third food that causes dementia is caffeine.
Excess caffeine. If you start having high doses, if you're not limiting yourself to 2 cups, but you're having 6, 7, 8, 10 cups a day, now it becomes a stressor.
Several studies have already shown the negative effects of caffeine to the body and the brain in particular. Caffeine addiction can increase your chances of dementia. You can find caffeine in the leaves, seeds, and fruits of many plants, including tea leaves, cocoa beans, coffee beans, guarana, and cola nuts. Foods containing caffeine include coffee drink and decaf coffee. Also, many carbonated energy drinks contain caffeine. The fourth food that causes dementia is starch.
Starch. And if we get a little bit here and there in a sweet potato or some tubers, that's not a big deal, but we're getting it in processed grains. Now we removed a lot of the fiber, everything that slows it down. So now that starch raises blood glucose even faster than the sugar does.
Common starch-filled grains include wheat, oats, barley, and rice. Therefore, it is important to control our intake of these grains and ensure we aren't taking them in excess amounts.
And the reason that we want to understand this so well and avoid excess carbohydrate is that there's such a strong connection between glucose and insulin resistance and dementia that it's sometimes called type 3 diabetes.
Studies have shown a very strong link between high blood glucose levels and dementia. Starch, on the other hand, can increase blood glucose to levels higher than sugar. This repeatedly high glucose levels can lead to diabetes, which can ultimately lead to dementia. This occurrence is termed type 3 diabetes.
And that doesn't mean that it is a separate type of diabetes. It just means they're trying to focus and help us understand how strong that link is.
The fifth food that causes dementia is food additives and preservatives.
Food additive. So we have artificial colors, we have artificial flavors, and then there is preservatives. When they add chemicals, they're making the food so unattractive that no other living things want it.
Additives and preservatives can be harmful to our health, thereby putting us at risk of dementia in our later years. Let us know in the comments if you agree with Dr. Sten Ekberg teachings. Also, let us know what foods you will be reducing in your diet to keep dementia away.